On the morning of August 6th, 1945, Hiroshima woke up like any other city. Children were walking to school. Shops were opening. Families were starting their day. For most people, nothing felt different. But high above the city, an American B-29 bomber named Enola Gay was flying toward Hiroshima. Inside the aircraft was a bomb called Little Boy. The name sounded small, but what was about to happen was not small at all. On the ground, the people of Hiroshima had no real warning. No time to run, no time to hide, no time to understand what was coming. The city was still alive. Homes, schools, streets, bridges, and markets were still there. But the clock was moving closer to 8:15 in the morning. A few moments later, the bomb was released. But this bomb was not designed to explode on the ground. It was designed to explode above the city, above people who had no idea their lives were seconds away from changing forever. Then, the sky turned white. For many people, the first thing they saw was light. A flash so bright, it was as if the sun had fallen onto the earth. For one instant, everything disappeared into white. Then came the heat, a terrifying heat that burned through the center of the city within seconds. After the light and heat came the blast wave. It shattered windows, tore through walls, and crushed buildings as if they were made of paper. In only a few seconds, the center of Hiroshima no longer looked like a city. Streets that had been full of people that morning were buried under smoke, ash, and debris. But the real horror began after the explosion. Because the people who survived did not understand what had happened. No one knew what kind of bomb this was. They only knew that their city had suddenly disappeared. Some people searched for their families, but the streets they knew were no longer recognizable. Homes were burning, bridges were damaged, smoke made it almost impossible to see. Fires began in different parts of the city. Soon, large areas of Hiroshima were burning. But fire was not the only problem. The city was not prepared for a disaster like this. Hospitals had been damaged. Doctors and nurses had also become victims. The number of people who needed help was far greater than the number of people who could give it. In those first hours, Hiroshima was not only destroyed, Hiroshima was alone. People did not know where to go. They did not know what was safe and what was dangerous. Some moved toward the rivers. Some searched through the ruins for the people they loved. And some simply walked, not knowing where they were going. Then, something happened that survivors will remember forever. Black rain. Dark drops began to fall from the sky. For people who were thirsty, wounded, and confused, rain may have looked like rescue. But it was not normal rain. Smoke, ash, and dangerous particles had filled the air. Many people still did not know the most dangerous threat was invisible. In the days that followed, a new face of the disaster appeared. People who had survived the blast suddenly became sick, even some who had no large visible wounds. Their bodies weakened. Fevers came. Their condition became worse. They had been exposed to something invisible. Radiation. That was what made Hiroshima different from an ordinary bombing. The explosion had ended, but its effects continued inside people's bodies. Roads were blocked. Communications were broken. Hospitals were overwhelmed. And the scale of destruction was almost impossible to believe. This was not just another bombed city. This was the first time a city had been attacked with an atomic weapon. And that changed everything. From that day forward, war was no longer only about soldiers, tanks, and airplanes. Now, one bomb could change the fate of an entire city, maybe even the fate of the entire world. 3 days later, Nagasaki was also hit. Soon after, World War II moved toward its end. But for the survivors, the end of the war was not the end of the pain. Hiroshima was rebuilt. The streets returned. Schools opened again. People began to live again. But the city never forgot that morning. 8:15 a.m. The moment the sky turned white. The moment a city changed in seconds. And the moment the world understood that the next war may be the end of everything.